So this chapter on malaria seems to start sort of in the middle of the history of malaria in 1946, which is kind of different from some of the other chapters. I think the main point here is to sort of follow the history of malaria and its evolution in relation to human conquest and expansion. And so what I mean by that is sort of deforestation and humans inhabiting different areas of the world and bringing diseases like malaria and yellow fever with them, and not only bringing these diseases with them, but also destroying the environment in such a way that makes it better for diseases like malaria and yellow fever. Uh, so I found that kind of eye-opening, and that seems like a more important point here is that a lot of these issues are exacerbated because of human activity, and ultimately they affect humans the most, especially in the case of malaria, where humans and uh, primates primarily are the main hosts for the disease. A couple things I found interesting. The first thing was the Roman Empire. They, before modern technology, thought that diseases like malaria had something to do with the air, and they noticed that people that lived in maybe it was the Greeks. I can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. Either the Greeks or the Romans, but they thought the air had something to do with it. So they noticed that the people that lived in the lower elevations, closer to the swamps, they noticed those people had more problems with diseases versus the people who lived up on top of the hills where the air was more pure. I thought that was kind of comical, a little bit interesting. One other thing I found pretty fascinating was that there is a mutation that, I think it's like 97% of the people in Africa have, called the Duffy mutation, where if you have the mutation from both parents, you're very likely to die prematurely. But if you have the mutation from just one parent, you are way better off in terms of defending yourself from diseases like malaria. So that was interesting. And malaria, another scary disease that we don't want anymore. And last I'll end with is DDT was super effective, and it was so effective that people just used it for everything, and they even sprayed their clothes and themselves with this chemical that several years later turned out to be absolutely horrible, and actually started becoming a bigger problem than it was a solution for malaria. So yeah, interesting history for malaria and interesting chapter.